This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, tariff response. Nova Scotia industries react to Premier Houston opening the door to more natural resource exploration.
Historic bid. Nova Scotia MP Jaime Battiste clears another hurdle in his bid to be Canada's first Indigenous Prime Minister.
And snow lessons. CBRM invests in new equipment after last year's record storm.
Well, some light snow tonight and flurries crossing the province into Friday morning, creating a little bit of snow on the roads, but back into the sunshine into the afternoon. All the details are coming up.
Good evening. Premier Tim Houston says the threat of American tariffs is Exhibit A for why Nova Scotia needs to grow and diversify its economy. Houston
announced on Wednesday that he plans to make it easier for natural resource industries to operate in the province. But as the CBC's Taryn Grant tells us, the reaction is polarized.
Sean Kirby has been advocating for years for Nova Scotia to be more friendly to the mining industry. It seems he could get his wish.
The government is clearly listening and seeing the potential in our industry and wants to work with us to take advantage of the opportunities that we have.
Earlier this week, the Premier said the province will cut red tape and maybe even do away with some long-standing bans on resource extraction.
And we can't expect Nova Scotia to prosper when we ban industry after industry after industry.
He says Nova Scotia needs more money to bolster against the threat of American tariffs and become more self-reliant. The province has bans on fracking, oil and gas exploration on Georgia's Bank, and on uranium. Kirby argues the uranium ban was a political move in the early 1980s, not based in science.
There is huge need globally for uranium, and Nova Scotia has potential to provide it, so we should lift the ban and allow exploration for it to start again so we can see whether we're able to actually have economically viable mines.
But Karen McKendry of the Ecology Action Centre feels very differently.
So it just seems like heading backwards instead of forwards.
She says risks posed by mining operations to the environment and human health are not worth it.
Mining continues to be one of the most polluting industries in the world. So as we're dealing with the climate crisis, it's not an industry that we want to keep developing.
She says it could come at the expense of some existing industries, including forestry, seafood, and agriculture.
It's not clear exactly how Houston will pave the way for the resource industry. He says there could be legislative changes when the House sits next month. Taryn Grant, CBC News, Halifax.
The boil water advisory affecting 200,000 residents in the Halifax area has ended. The municipality issued an alert shortly after 9 o'clock this morning. Tests showed the tap water is now safe to drink. The advisory had been in place since early Tuesday morning, prompting some business closures and more than 100 canceled surgeries. Halifax Water recommends running water for 10 minutes in appliances that are connected to water lines. The utility says it will work on an investigation report for the Nova Scotia Utility and Review Board, which will be shared with the province and the public. That report will be submitted on February 4th.
RCMP in southwest Nova Scotia have laid a second-degree murder charge for a death in Annapolis County last August. On the morning of August 31st, police were called to a report of a sudden death at a home in Virginia East. Officers found a 66-year-old man dead. Police say over the 5-month investigation, 6 crime scenes were involved and more than 100 people were interviewed. Yesterday, police arrested a 21-year-old man from Bear River and charged him with second-degree murder. He's in custody and will appear in court next week.
A woman from Windsor is dead following a single vehicle crash in Upper Rawdon on Wednesday afternoon. RCMP say the vehicle was traveling on Highway 14 when it left the road, flipping over and landing on its roof in a ditch. A 40-year-old woman from Windsor was the driver and sole occupant of the vehicle. She died at the scene. The highway was closed for several hours but has since reopened.
The Federal Department of Fisheries now says it will not proceed with a pilot program to expand access to the controversial Elver fishery this year. The plan was to distribute 28% of the allowable catch among people who are already involved in the fishery, including those who fish for commercial Elver fishing enterprises. The aim was to reduce the number of companies that had a stake in the fishery and turn the fishery over to more individual fishermen, including more Indigenous people. The department says after listening to feedback, it's putting the pilot project on hold.
Jaime Battiste is running to be the first Indigenous Prime Minister of Canada. The MP for Sydney Victoria says he has money and signatures needed to start his bid to be the next Liberal leader. As the CBC's Luke Ettinger reports, Mi'kmaq chiefs showed their support today.
Jaime Battiste has sent his $50,000 and 300 signatures needed as part of the nomination package for the Liberal Party leadership race. The next challenge will be raising an additional $300,000 by February 17th, something the Battiste campaign is working on.
I'm a poker player. We don't show our hand.
Battiste became the first Mi'kmaq MP in 2019 and is running to be the first Indigenous Prime Minister.
Someone always has to take these first steps, even if they know that these first steps that we're taking are to pave the way for future generations.
Mi'kmaq chief stood behind him at a Dartmouth hotel Thursday.
As a close friend, I really encouraged him because we didn't really hear the Indigenous issues in the forefront.
And our rights are more than a special interest group. We are a nation, and we need the government of Canada, the people that make the decisions, to talk to us as a nation.
It was 1960 when Indigenous people gained the right to vote in Canada. Regional Chief for Nova Scotia, Andrea Paul, says she is encouraging Indigenous people to sign up for the Liberal Party.
One of the things that I always was excited about was how do we get people excited about voting? They have a right to vote.
The fight is shaping up to be a battle between former central banker Mark Carney and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. Former House Leader Karina Gould, as well as Ottawa MP Chandra Arya and former Quebec MP Frank Baylis are also looking to be the next Prime Minister.
I've always embraced being the underdog role, and every time I've gotten involved in any kind of federal politics, from the nominations to 2 elections, I've never been picked to be the winner, and so if they keep betting against me, I'll let them.
Canadian citizens and permanent residents over 14 can join the Liberal Party to vote, so long as they sign up before 6 p.m. Atlantic on Monday. Luke Ettinger, CBC News, Dartmouth.
Well, the cold weather continues. Let's check in with Ryan Snoddon now.
Yes, very frosty out there again.
Yeah, very frosty, and we're going to add some snow on top tonight into early Friday morning. Let's have a look at the map to show you. Generally speaking, it's going to be a trace to 5 centimeters overnight and into Friday morning, but some pockets that could get up into that 5 to 10 centimeter range, especially Yarmouth down towards Digby County, up into the Cumberland County area possibly, and also in through Inverness. That'll be continuing into Friday afternoon there with some onshore flurries on tap. Now, as we look at the temperatures, these are going to be your afternoon temperatures. We'll actually see temperatures rise a little bit overnight as we sleep, then falling as we move into tomorrow morning. And the Atlantic coastline will be a little bit milder than this, but then further temperature tumbling into the morning and afternoon. Similar story for Cape Breton. These temperatures will fall into the -5 to -6 or 7 range by afternoon. The northwest to northwest winds tomorrow will be sustained near 20, gusting 30 to 40, so a little bit of a bite to the air indeed. Now, timing out that cold, no doubt we're going to continue to see that cold air in place for the next couple of days, remaining colder than normal. We will see temperatures edging up a little bit milder into early next week, back closer to seasonal. You see these green temperatures here, but all indications are another shot of Arctic air moving in mid to late next week. We'll talk about that with your 7-day forecast coming up. Tom and Amy.
That time of year. Okay.
Up and down we go.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Well, as Nova Scotia faces that cold snap with extreme wind chill, the provincial government is hoping to get homeless people inside. The province is expanding shelter spaces and opening new temporary emergency shelters in the Halifax Regional Municipality. Calling it an extreme weather protocol, the government provides extra funding to expand capacity at existing shelters. It is also opening a temporary shelter in Musquodoboit and in South End, Halifax. The St. Mary's Boat Club will have 30 to 40 beds added until Sunday.
In some places, they're able to add additional beds to their existing facility. In other places, we know a service provider will do a pop-up shelter, for instance, in a building that may not be appropriate for use for a shelter long-term, but the owner agrees to sort of an emergency situation.
The use of the St. Mary's Boat Club was provided by HRM for free. The group 902 Man Up is running the shelter until the end of the week.
CBRM has made some big-ticket purchases as a result of last February's major snowstorm. More than 150 centimeters fell over the course of a weekend in Sydney, trapping residents and making for a difficult cleanup. Matthew Moore has that story.
On that long February weekend, it snowed on Friday, more on Saturday, and even more on Sunday. And then when it came time to clean up the mess, crews in the CBRM realized some areas had 200 centimeters of snow. People were trapped in their homes.
Our lesson learned from that is sometimes you need to have the right equipment to deal with extraordinary circumstances, and especially if they are going to become more ordinary. So this equipment that we've invested in here is going to help us with that.
The municipality purchased a new Snow Tracks vehicle. It's made to travel through extreme snow conditions and has equipment to rescue people from remote areas.
After the event, there were people who were supported by helicopter during the situation. So it was an extremely dangerous situation for a number of people, and having more equipment that helps us deal with snowfalls that are beyond the ability to plow is something we're keeping in mind and trying to prepare as best as we can for.
Previously, other areas of the province would loan their equipment. But now, CBRM has 3 large snowblowers, which will be more effective at opening main roadways.
You think you have these big snow plows that you clear 100 series highways with, and you think that's all you need, and you realize that's ineffective against 200 centimeters of snow.
Lamy says the municipality is better prepared than ever for when the next major snow event hits the region. Matthew Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
Big changes are happening to 3 churches in Glace Bay. They've amalgamated to form a new church congregation with hopes of keeping the doors open longer. But the future of one historic church in the heart of town has been left in limbo. The CBC's Kyle Moore has that story.
Knox United Church is the last of 3 churches that once stood on Commercial Street. It's more than 120 years old and at one time was packed for Sunday service. 98-year-old Daffy McCauley remembers those earlier days.
That I can remember they had to put extra chairs in the choir loft there for the overflow of people coming to sing in the choir.
But those days are gone, and it's been a struggle putting people in the pews.
We went through a spell, well, we have since COVID, where we're only getting 16, 18 people in church.
That has led to the congregations of Newsom, Rawdon, and Knox United to form one newly named Glace Bay United Church. Newsom has been sold with plans to turn it into a daycare, but the historic Knox Church is still for sale.
I pray every day that someone's going to buy it and make it into something that will keep the building as a whole as such. I mean, I know there would have to be renovations, but I just hope it doesn't get torn down, but we'll have to wait and see.
Susan Hiscock says at one time the church was a gathering place for miners and their families and for different groups in the community. Reverend Dana Feltmate says it's not just a building, it means something to people, and it can be hard to let go.
People have been born here, baptized here, confirmed here, married here, have had family members have died here. There's a lot of feelings around churches.
Feltmate says with churches being one of the last places to open after the pandemic, some people never came back. But he says joining forces has made it easier to keep going. The 3 newly formed congregations held their first service together earlier this month.
We ran out of bulletins that Sunday. We had more than we expected, and it was a snow day. People came out in bad weather, so it was very encouraging.
Despite having hope for the future, Effie McCauley can't help but think about the memories that have been left behind.
It's part of your life, all these things here. They're really all part of your life. And I'm going to miss everything about this church.
For now, the doors are shuttered at Knox with a price tag of just under $300,000. Kyle Moore, CBC News, Glace Bay.
A look from earlier today, that's Halifax's Spring Garden Road. We've got Ryan up next with his full weather forecast. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
We saw that video of Spring Garden Road before the commercial break. Boy, folks pretty well bundled up, weren't they?
Yeah, they were walking pretty fast, right?
A brisk walk.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Brisk day.
Yeah.
But we're getting a little reprieve, right?
We are. Temperatures are going to be rising Sunday into early next week, so some reprieve there. But until then, winter's got us by the scarf, and it's not letting go. Have a look at lows this morning. So another very cold one. Widespread temps in that, minus 14 to minus 19 range. Couple of spots there that we, Amherst and Parsboro at minus 21 this morning. A little bit milder in through the Tri-County area. Temperatures have been rising ever since then, and we're pretty close to the freezing mark right now in through the Tri-County area. Halifax is at minus 5, and you can see that temperature's still minus 10 in Sydney, as that southwest wind is not quite arrived there yet, but temperatures are warming through this evening, and then we'll see the winds shifting from southwest to northwest, and so temperatures will start to fall through the overnight and into tomorrow morning. We'll time all that out with your hour by hour. You can see sustained winds right now, Yarmouth into the Digby Neck area, and gusting there 50 kilometers per hour. And we're seeing some squalls setting up here, Grand Manan into southern New Brunswick, clipping into Digby and Yarmouth County from time to time over the last few hours, as we'll show you the radar. At the moment, it looks like that's going to be our best chance of seeing maybe some local amounts of 5 to 10 centimeters there tonight. We'll see wind chills out there right now in the minus double digits. So let's show you the radar. Again, some flurries into the Halifax area and in towards Cobequid Bay. And this is where we're seeing the bulk of the action is just offshore. But based on the satellite, perhaps a few bands starting to edge their way in there to Yarmouth and Digby, and we'll be watching as these two lows to move through, continuing that light snow and flurry action tonight as it spreads in from west to east. Let's have a look at temperatures across the country right now and across North America. That cold air still all the way down. Atlanta just at 4 degrees. Orlando is at 7. 7, yes, and Miami just at 13. So that is a pretty cool shot even for that far south. Tonight, our temperatures will be, actually, we'll show you the snowfall first and foremost. So there's the trace to widespread 5 centimeter amounts in that little pocket there that is their best chance of seeing the 5 to 10, and also in through Inverness as well. For tonight, temperatures are going to be, bumping up through the overnight and into tomorrow morning. -3 by morning in through Sydney and Port Hawkesbury. Wind chill values are going to be through the evening and into the overnight. Again, dropping, and then by tomorrow morning you can see and into the lunchtime hour already back into the minus double digits. Tomorrow afternoon, steady there. So it'll actually be a little bit milder tomorrow morning in terms of the temperature and the wind chill before that northwest wind strengthens into the afternoon. So let's time this all out. So note these temperatures bumping up by 10 o'clock. We're back right to the freezing mark and through the Yarmouth and Shelburne area. Here comes that band. Note through the overnight, even Halifax up in and around the -1 to -2 range as we sleep. By 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Amherst, New Glasgow, the Valley, already starting to see those temperatures fall. It's milder along the Atlantic coastline by 6 a.m., but then those temperatures will slide throughout the morning. Cape Breton hanging on to the mild temperatures in the morning, and then you folks sliding. Those temperatures will fall into the afternoon. Could see a flurry tomorrow afternoon, Yarmouth and Shelburne, as well as Inverness. Otherwise, tomorrow afternoon looking pretty quiet. So these are your afternoon temperatures for Cape Breton and across into the mainland. Afternoon temperatures will be milder in the morning, as we just said, for Halifax. So a heads up on that. Will be cooling down throughout the day. -5 to -8 in the west. Those onshore flurries will continue likely into Saturday for Inverness County. High pressure off to the south, and we'll see some sunshine into Saturday afternoon. Looking at a pretty nice day overall, but again, cool, -4 to -7. And then that high pressure area moves out. We've got some light snow pushing in for Sunday under what will likely become mainly cloudy skies, some sun early on. Those temperatures back near the freezing mark. So this is right near seasonal. Sunday, Monday, a little above seasonal. Could we see a shower on Tuesday? Not out of the question. Definitely some wet flakes. And then Arctic air returns Wednesday, Thursday, possibly into Friday. So a heads up on that.
Back it comes. Okay, Ryan, thanks so much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Coming up, Halifax's mayor calls on Halifax Water to do better following a massive boil water order. Now that a boil water advisory that lasted more than 2 days in the Halifax area has been lifted, the Utility and Review Board has requested an investigation into what went wrong. After a planned power outage by Nova Scotia Power, the water utility blamed a blown fuse for allowing unchlorinated water into the system. Andy Fillmore is the mayor of Halifax. Mr. Fillmore, how satisfied are you with the performance of Halifax Water this week?
Well, I have to say it was disappointing to wake up to hear about the boil water advisory, the second in about 6 or 7 months. So I had a long talk with the general manager of Halifax Water yesterday and outlined my expectations, and the conversation went very well.
The Premier told CTV that he felt it was a complete embarrassment. Do you agree with that characterization?
Well, it's very unfortunate, and people's lives were interrupted. We know that there was an impact on hospitals and on businesses. And I don't think that the alert system was properly deployed either. So these are some of the things that we talked about. But before we can start to plan to make improvements, we need to understand exactly what happened. And that's what I've asked of the general manager, for a complete investigation about what happened. I've asked her to make sure that all of the backup and redundancy systems are being thoroughly tested, not just a pump or a generator, but the entire system in which those elements exist are tested, so this doesn't happen again. And I've asked for a new, very clear and predictable and transparent policy on the use of the emergency alert system, so that we can know when these things are happening and people can plan accordingly.
Yeah, you've touched on a few things there. I mean, this was a planned power outage that Nova Scotia Power says it told Halifax Water about. In the end, it's a blown fuse is the thing that crippled the water system. What does that say about the redundancy built into the system? What do you think, how big of a part do you think that problem played?
Well, because it happened twice within the 6 or 7 months, I think it's not a good story. And this is why I've asked for more thoroughgoing reviews and testing of the backup and redundancy systems. Those systems are there to not fail in exactly a moment like we had the other morning, and yet it failed. So we need to understand why that is, and we really won't have the answers to the why until this investigation is complete.
What do you say to the citizens of Halifax who had to deal with this for 48 hours or so?
It can't be easy. You know that, as I said, there have been a lot of interruptions to people's patterns. There has been concern about public health. It's anxiety making, and it's no fun. So I know that Halifax Water is going to be doing their very, very best to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on that process, on those 3 items that I mentioned, around the testing, around the alert system, and around the investigation as to exactly what happened. It's very unfortunate, and my great hope is that it never happens again.
Will you make the results of the investigation public?
Yes, I've asked that the results of the investigation are completely transparent and to be made public, and we'll all be able to have a look and see what happened when the investigation is concluded.
So is this investigation separate from what the Utility and Review Board will be doing, or is it the same one?
That's a question. That's a detailed question. I'm not quite sure what the UARB is going to be engaged with, but my request was that Halifax Water and their team get to the very bottom of what exactly happened and what failed.
Should the province be able to regain some of its losses here? The Premier, reportedly suggesting that Nova Scotia Health should invoice Halifax Water for the cancelled surgeries and some of the snarls that caused. What do you agree with that?
I think we need to let the investigation run its course and find out what happened and why. I know that, look, having a surgery canceled, it must be heartbreaking, the anxiety around that. There could be travel plans, the mental preparation. It's really deeply unfortunate for that. I do wonder if there might be a system for testing water at the entry point into hospitals, so that in future interruptions, perhaps the water does not need to be turned off and surgeries don't need to be canceled. But that'd be a question for the hospitals. But the bottom line here is very unfortunate incident, and I have a great deal of empathy for folks who had their procedures canceled.
It's been a busy couple of days for sure, the last 24 hours indeed. I'm talking about the evacuation now, but the area around the McKay Bridge and the bridge actually being temporarily shut down because dried picric acid was discovered yesterday. What questions does that situation raise for you?
Well, I'll start by saying when Haligonians hear the word picric acid, their ears perk up, because, as we know, that was an element in the Halifax explosion more than 100 years ago. So that compound carries weight around here. So we all started paying attention very closely. There's an investigation underway at BIO to understand what failed and why there was the spill. I do want to commend the first responders, Halifax Police, the Halifax Regional Fire and Emergency. The bomb squad had to be on scene. They did an outstanding job keeping people and environment safe. And I will say, Tom, I know that when a bridge is closed, it creates a tremendous inconvenience and a great deal of frustration for people. I think it's important that we always put public safety first. Sometimes that's going to mean some frustration, but at least people will be safe and alive.
All right, Mayor Fillmore, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Tom. And we'll talk again soon, I hope.
Coming up, the Liberal caucus meets in Ottawa as leadership candidates hit the deadline to formally enter the race.
And U.S. President Donald Trump addresses the World Economic Forum as tariffs and trade dominate discussions. Welcome back. It is deadline day for entry into the Liberal leadership race. Candidates must have submitted a $50,000 deposit by this evening.
As the CBC's Ashley Burke reports, the battle lines are being drawn among the Liberal caucus.
Liberal caucus members starting to pick sides, publicly endorsing the top contenders to replace Justin Trudeau.
My endorsement of Mr. Carney is because I think he's the best person to lead us into the next election.
For me, Chrystia Freeland has the experience we need at this time.
Former Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland now breaking away from previous policy she endorsed, like the carbon tax and changes to the capital gains tax, a move to distance herself from Trudeau.
For me, a huge emphasis is going to be reviving the party, reviving the grassroots of the party.
She's won over some members of cabinet.
For me, Christia's record of achievement speaks for itself. This is somebody who in her private life was a journalist and a managing editor, took on Putin.
But many more high-profile ministers known as powerful organizers and fundraisers are backing her main opponent.
When it comes to Mr. Carney, I have a lot of respect, and I've endorsed him, and I've sent a clear message to my base and to my organizers and to my volunteers to send a signal.
Carney, the former governor of the Bank of Canada, posting a campaign video.
I'm not a politician, but I've always been a Liberal.
Carney outlining why he thinks he's the best choice to take on Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre.
You can't stand up to Trump when you're working from his playbook.
We need a Liberal Party of Canada for the next generation.
Liberal House Leader Karina Gould is a long-shot contender in this race. She's targeting young Liberals and the grassroots while also trying to back away from her government's unpopular policies.
We have to be honest about the fact that Canadians have lost trust in our party. And part of it is because I don't think we responded to the issues that they were telling us mattered to them.
Gould, Freeland, and Carney are among those who have now submitted their paperwork and a $50,000 deposit to enter the race. Now it will take some time for the party to approve candidates before they become official. So far, Carney has the support of more than 30 MPs, Freeland around 25, and 2 are backing Gould. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Donald Trump has taken his threats against Canada to the global stage. Just days into his second term as the U.S. president, Trump made a virtual speech to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. As Chris Reyes reports, he once again claimed without evidence that Canada was being unfair to the United States.
President Donald Trump addressed the global community at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, virtually from Washington, D.C. He touched on a long list of topics, a lot of them domestic, from border security to inflation, but also on issues that have direct impact on Canada and the rest of the world. Now, Trump didn't mention annexation or the 25% tariff threat, but he did talk extensively about what he wants to change when it comes to U.S.-Canada relations.
We're going to be demanding respect from other nations. Canada, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We can't do it. Canada has been very tough to deal with over the years, and it's not fair that we should have a $200 billion or $250 billion deficit. We don't need them to make our cars, and they make a lot of them. We don't need their lumber because we have our own forests, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need their oil and gas.
Something else that has direct impact on Canada, the Trump position on the NATO alliance. Here's what he said about that.
We restore common sense in America. We're moving quickly to bring back strength and peace and stability abroad. I'm also going to ask all NATO nations to increase defense spending to 5% of GDP, which is what it should have been years ago. It was only at 2%, and most nations didn't pay until I came along. I insisted that they pay, and they did, because the United States was really paying the difference at that time, and it was unfair to the United States. But many, many things have been unfair for many years.
Other parts that are particularly relevant to Canada, Trump's big criticism of the Paris climate deal, which Canada is a signatory of. He called it one-sided. And he talked about scrapping the Green New Deal here in the United States, called it a scam. This is a program that has parallels in Canada. And in this speech, Trump seemed to be casting himself as a banner holder for these policy positions. Nationalist, populist, anti-regulatory, skeptical of global coalitions and government climate-directed response to climate change. Will this embolden the CEOs and world leaders in those rooms to also take up these talking points? That's the shift that we are going to be closely watching with the Trump administration. Chris Reyes, CBC News, Washington.
A British teen has been sentenced to more than 50 years in prison. It's for killing 3 little girls and wounding 10 other people at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class last summer. The judge dealing with the case says it's unlikely the convicted killer will ever be released. Crystal Gamansing has more.
Justice Goose, in his sentencing, said that he had no doubt that given the opportunity, Axel Rudakabana would have killed all 26 children present that day in Southport for the Taylor Swift-themed dance class. CCTV images as well as body cameras worn by the police officers who were on scene that day on July 29th, 2024 were played as a part of the sentencing hearing. The judge said that there is no doubt that people who witnessed those images could consider Rudakabana evil, and he said it's hard to disagree with that. The judge said he had to take into account that during the time of that horrific rampage, that knifing incident, that the individual was just 17 years old. He turned 18 about 9 days later, and so he wasn't able to sentence him to what's called here in the UK a whole life term. That, however, given the severity of the charge of murder and the deaths of Elsie, Alice, and Bibi, he was able to give him what he considers to be a life term, spending a minimum of 52 years in prison. Now, Merseyside police put out a statement calling Rudakabana vicious and cowardly. When that sentence was read out in court, members of the family who were on hand breathed a sigh of relief. They were holding hands, they hugged. This case has been incredibly hard on the entire community, people here in Liverpool, but also in Southport itself. The families have gone through so much, and there are many who spoke today giving victim impact statements, trying to explain the trauma that they have endured and the loss. Now, in his sentence, Justice Goose said that while the individual, Rana Kubara, pleaded guilty, saving everyone a trial, he could not consider that to be remorse. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, Liverpool, England.
A new wildfire that erupted north of Los Angeles on Wednesday is being fueled by strong winds and dry brush. It's spread to more than 41 square kilometers and is only 14% contained. About 4,000 firefighters are battling this blaze.
We are dealing with high winds, which we also saw with the other fires, along with a thick fuel bed, very receptive fuel bed, and steep topography again.
The new fire is near Castaic Lake, a popular recreation area. It's 64 kilometers from the Eaton and Palisades fires, now burning for the third week. It grew to 2/3 the size of the Eaton fire in a matter of hours. Mandatory evacuation orders have been issued for more than 31,000 people. There is some rain in the forecast over the next few days, which may help crews battling the flames.
Hundreds of families in Jasper, Alberta remain without homes 6 months after a devastating wildfire tore through the town. And it's because the promised funding is being held up by a standoff between the province and the municipality. Julia Wong reports.
Hundreds of Jasper residents are still trying to recover after last summer's wildfire destroyed their homes. Many were relying on moving into interim housing promised by the Alberta government, but there have been some challenges. Now, several parcels of land have been set aside inside the national park and have been serviced and ready for that interim housing. The Alberta government says it wants to put in permanent single detached houses, but the municipality says there would only be space for about 60 of those units, not enough for the 600 households who need that temporary housing. It says high density housing is what's needed. The province says the roughly $100 million that's been offered hinges on those single detached homes.
And so as long as a project is being built that meets those requirements, that's what this money could be spent on. If we don't have a project that meets those requirements, then this money can't be spent.
There are a number of different initiatives going on right now, and especially now that we understand that the province is not going to be bringing any interim housing, we need to find other solutions.
Many residents who lost their homes have been staying in hotels, but have been told they need to move out soon or by the spring at the latest. Many say without temporary housing, they don't know where they're going to go. Some say they're frustrated at being in this state of limbo.
I lost everything overnight, and now I'm trying to fight and beg my government for a place to live. Yeah, it's disappointing for sure.
Parks Canada says it's working to secure high-density interim housing. The municipality says it's aiming to have that by the middle of February. But that help won't be enough for everyone who needs it. And some residents who lost their houses are growing weary and just want a place to call home. Julia Wong, CBC News, Jasper, Alberta.
More than half of Canadians now have a pet at home, and the cost of caring for those animals continues to climb. Charles E. Agro takes a quick closer look at who is behind the rising cost of vet care in this country. It's part of a joint investigation into the cost of veterinary care by Marketplace, the Fifth Estate, and Radio-Canada.
Doesn't that one have catnip in it?
When Guppy the cat stopped eating, Maya Terzic rushed him to the vet. After agreeing to a few $100s worth of blood work, she was shocked when she got a bill for $1,100.
I was like, wow, I can't pay for that right now.
She had no idea the clinic she'd just taken her cat to was owned by a corporation.
I was panicked. I was like, this is the only vet that I know.
Before 2010, almost all vet clinics in Canada were owned by the vet you visited. International conglomerates are now behind more than half of emergency and specialty hospitals and 20% of all vet clinics in Canada. Of the three biggest players in Canada, only VCA brands its clinics. Vet Strategy and NVA do not. So just like Maya, consumers may not know who's really behind their pet's care.
I think they're hiding it.
Insider Rima, whose name we've changed to protect her identity, spent 5 years working at a Vet Strategy clinic. She says the priority at those clinics was clear: increase profits.
At my hospital, we had 5 service fee increases within 1 year.
She's got a torn ACL.
Pricing strategies St. John-based vet Dr. Ivan Zach says are driving up the cost of care across the country.
The danger there is that everybody starts comparing to the clinic that is owned by a corporation that says, okay, well, we can go that high.
VCA says they offer a range of pet health care services in an effort to keep veterinary care accessible. NVA says they don't change the name of a clinic after they buy it to respect the legacy built by the veterinarian. Vet Strategy tells us that, like all industries, its operating costs have risen rapidly in recent years. They also say that they are committed to transparency, and information about its practices can be found on its website.
I think it's only fair to be honest with your customers and your clients, and then they can make an informed choice of where they want to go.
Guppy has made a full recovery, but if he does get sick again, Terzic says she won't be taking him back to a corporate clinic. Charles C. Agro, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, the nominations are now out for the 97th Academy Awards. This year's announcement had been delayed because of the LA wildfires.
The CBC's Eli Glasner has more on the Oscar nods and the perceived snubs.
The nominations have been announced, and this is where the Oscar race gets serious, with the film leading the pack with 13 nominations. Amelia Perez, a Spanish-language movie musical about a drug cartel boss, Carla Sofia Gascon, the actor who plays Amelia Perez, now making history as the first openly transgender woman to be nominated in the Best Actress category. Let's move on and take a look at The Brutalist, receiving 10 nominations. Adrian Brody playing a Jewish immigrant who comes to America trying to find work as an architect. Guy Pearce as his rich patron who begins to fund his dreams of these amazing buildings that he designed. But tied in second place in terms of nominations with The Brutalist is Wicked, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, who are now both Oscar nominees for the movie musical based on the Broadway smash. Universal Language was on the long list for Best International Feature, this amazing film set in a different kind of Winnipeg, but it was overlooked. as was Pamela Anderson for her fine work in The Last Showgirl, where she plays this aging Las Vegas dancer who sees how her life is changing. That was not nominated, but Sebastian Stan was, and that is perhaps a bit of a surprise considering the fact that he was nominated for his work in The Apprentice, a movie about a young Donald J. Trump, which Trump's lawyers tried to stop from being released. One more film I wanted to mention is Sugarcane. This is a documentary from two Canadian filmmakers taking a look at what happened inside the St. Joseph's Mission, a residential school in British Columbia. It comes from two Canadian filmmakers as one of the filmmakers talks to his father about what actually happened inside the walls of that residential school following an investigation into the same school. It is nominated in the documentary category. And so there you go. There are your nominations. The show will go on March 2nd, even with fires burning in the background. The organizers are adamant that the Oscars will continue. Eli Glasser, CBC News, Toronto.
Canada's main stock index rose more than 100 points today, helped by strength in industrial and utility stocks, while the U.S. markets also rose. Here's a look at the numbers as we head to break. I don't know if you noticed through the show, though, some of the people being interviewed, a lot of red noses and rosy cheeks, you know?
But you were talking earlier, though, yesterday, not a lot of snow.
No.
Considering it's very wintry, not a lot of snow.
Not great for the snowmobilers, and the skiers would like to see more for sure.
Cross-country skiers, a little upset. I know the downhills, obviously, I mean, they're making snow all the time,
it's not
right?
melting.
Right. But yeah, the cross-country skiers and snowshoers and folks that would like to get out, obviously, would hope for a little more snow.
There's time yet, though, right?
There's lots of time. So much time. Have a look at our viewer picture of the day. And one thing we do have a lot of is, ice in and around right now. And even starting to see some ice in and around the Northumberland Strait, which is always good.
Some evidence there.
Christina, thank you so much for sharing this. Nice, beautiful sky there.
Where does the sky start and the water end?
It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, beautiful
She
shot.
braved it on the beach, right?
Thank you so much,
Really
Christina. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. So there's a look at the snow tonight. And again, we will see, generally speaking, a trace to 2 centimeters, some 2 to 5 pockets, and a 5 to 10 centimeter zone that looks very likely from Digby down towards Yarmouth County. Now, exact placement of that to be determined, but that looks like our greatest shot of seeing that, and also in towards Inverness County by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, because we will see, with those northwest winds, onshore winds mean onshore flurries for the Inverness County area, as has been the case all winter. How much snow in the Highlands, I wonder? Probably have to measure it in meters for sure at this point. Note the temperature is pretty cool for tomorrow in the afternoon. It'll actually be a little bit milder in the morning, and then that northwest wind kicks in. Temperatures falling along the Atlantic coastline will rise only a couple of degrees in through northern areas. Lots of sunshine on the menu for Saturday. And again, this is the map that kind of really tells the story in terms of those temperatures. So the jet stream snugs in nice and close for Monday, and then you can see that big pool of Arctic air moving back in mid next week.
That'll do it. All right. Well, while most Canadians are trying to stay warm, a zoo in Brazil is trying to beat the heat by handing out ice pops to its wild residents.
Frozen treats help the animals dealing with the soaring temperatures. In Rio de Janeiro's Biopark Zoo, jaguars got to enjoy blood popsicles, and the bears and monkeys were served fruit and veggie-flavored ones.
The zoo's biologist says the animals are not used to such high temperatures, and the cool delicates offer refreshing respite.
I think I'd prefer the fruit ones.
I'll pass on the blood popsicle,
That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.